Welcome to Making Progress Without the Overwhelm. If you are watching this, that means you've bought my digital product Take Action Kit. And this video is to help you work through that and get a little bit more of the ins and outs. So I'm glad you're here and I'm glad that you are taking the plunge to really start making progress on whatever it is for you. Here's a little bit about me. I am a former teacher of 13 years. There's my family there. And I have left the classroom and I now coach women. And I do different speaking things, one on one calls, group sessions, lots of different digital resources like the one that you just purchased. And really briefly, I wanted to share some success I had in a network marketing field. And I share this so that you know why I am able to speak on making progress. I did this when I was working full time as a teacher, and I worked for a solid 3 years in the network marketing kind of wellness industry, and my babies were all in diapers. So this was a busy time of life, probably the busiest that I can even remember. And I was able to earn trips, earn leadership awards, make over $80,000 in extra income for my family, had over a 2 year streak of helping multiple new people every single month. And so this is the process that worked for me to do that. It's also the process that I go through with my own clients. So I just want to share that so that you can kind of see like, there is a little proof to this process that I have sort of made up. I'm also a certified life coach and certified meditation and mindfulness coach. And I just wanted to share that so that you kind of get the ending of this. The bonus there that you can see on that slide is using mindfulness, really that inner work, and kind of going, using that as kind of your magic to keep this all going together. So, really quickly, before we go any further, I want you to take a few deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. And I really want you to drop into this present moment. You're watching this, there's nothing else to do, no matter what you were doing beforehand, no matter what the day brought you, you're now doing this. So put your feet on the floor, get really grounded, and take a few more deep breaths and let yourself be open to inspiration, new ideas, learning. Okay. So the first step, brain dump. This is your first step in your workbook, and it's really the task that you are going to write down every single thing that just is floating around in our heads. As a mom, as a woman, someone that takes care of a lot of people, I'm sure you do too, and you wear lots of hats. That brain space is important and we need to free it up. So you need to write down all the things. And this includes to-do lists, grocery lists, whatever that's taking up space, things that you are, oh, I think I should learn this before I do this. I should do this. I need to learn this. I want to launch this. I have this new inspiration. All of it. The things that just like ping, ping, ping around in our brains when we're sleeping at night. Get this out and write it down. I also love to do this with a partner. So I do this for my clients. So if you want some one-on-one coaching, have a session with me and do this. I will write for you and you can word vomit. But if you have, say, a business partner, a friend that you trust, you can do this for each other and take turns. So what's really cool is like usually we can't write as fast as we're thinking. So if we can talk and the other person writes for us, there tends to be a few more things that fall out than we originally thought were in there floating around. So go ahead and give this a try. Like, seriously, in a second here, hit pause and write. Just don't worry about it landing on the page the right way, this or that or the other. You're going to write. Write. Get it out. Set a timer for 60 seconds if you need to. If you're still going at that time, keep going. But the idea is to quickly hit pause here now and write. Okay. And once you've done that, you'll go on to the second step, which is to pick your right now actions. I like to call this right now so that it is truly right now. You are prioritizing the list that you just made. Now, usually our default is to kind of go for the things we think we should do. Here's a tip that got me when I was first starting out on my entrepreneurial new ventures. I would pick the things that I thought were going to make me money. And what I learned was those were not the things that if you look at this slide and you say, well, what am I most excited about? Which one of these things will bring me the most joy? Those were not the same things for me. And so that meant that I was working out of a place of thinking I should do this versus a place of this is what lights me up and this is what I am aligned with right now. So I did not make money from those things that I picked because they were not aligned with me. So please don't do that. Go with the ones that give you the butterflies in your stomach, those exciting feelings. For me, it's in my stomach. It might be different for you. It makes your heart flutter. I don't know. But for me, it's always like the excited butterflies in my stomach. That's the feeling that I've noticed over the years. And that's the one that I need to chase. That is when I'm in complete alignment. And then I also want to caution you at this point, don't take on too many things off of this list at once. You can revisit this step as often as you need to. You now have this brain dump list that you can go back to and refer to. You're not doing 4 to 5 things from it all at once. That is where the overwhelm is going to come in. You're going to feel like, well, I can't get all of it done, so I'm going to do none of it. I think we've all been there. And that's when we take on too much. And you're going to know if you pause and you really check in with yourself and how are you feeling as you're doing this. But if you don't pause, you won't know. So pause and ask yourself, how does this feel as you work on it? Because I think life tells us, hey, no, we're just going to go, go, go. And we don't stop to think, how does this feel? And I want you to make sure you do that because you're here to do these things without being overwhelmed. And so again, you're going to try this. So in a second, you'll hit pause. What you can do here is get out a highlighter, get out a marker, color code this, but go with those things that give you that feeling. That is the path that you're going to take. And those are the things you're going to tackle first. So go ahead and hit pause. All right. So once you've picked those 1 or 2 things, you're going to break it down. So you're going to take your right now list. You're going to turn these things into small actionable steps. The smaller, the better, because our brain will fight us because what it is supposed to do is to keep us safe. Our brain is designed to keep us safe. And it's also designed to make sure that with that safety, there is no change because to our brains, change equals unsafe. So you making progress is change. And so do you see what I'm saying? Your brain is going to be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. No, no, no. That's not, we don't know what's over there. We know what is right here. Let's stay safe and not do this. So we're going to counteract this by doing super small actions. So how do we do this? How do we make this list? Ask yourself, what are the tiny steps to get me to my end goal? For example, 2 years ago, one of my big nudges that I really wanted to follow that I let be a nudge for over a year without actually doing it was to launch my podcast. And it would be overwhelming. I would sit down and I'd try to I don't know what I was thinking. I was just going to launch it all in one sitting. And so you'd Google and then I learned okay, well, I got to pick a recording program. I need to pick a host website or program to host my podcast to kick it out to serve to different podcasts. But it was a lot. And so I didn't do any of it. And so think about what are those tiny steps. The reason I ended up being able to launch my podcast was because I decided I'm going to do the next thing. So one day it was order your microphone. Then the next day it was pick what program I'm going to record on and then get it downloaded to my computer. So I did one thing at a time, and that's how I made that progress. And the really cool thing is once you've done this, you now have a to-do list. So when you have small pockets of time, now don't forget you can rest during these small pockets of time. I say that for myself and for you. You can rest during these pockets of time too. But if you are in a time, a feeling like you want to get something done, when you sit down and you have this small moment of time, I don't know about you, but if I don't have this step done, usually then I just scroll social media and I just let the time pass and now I've gotten nowhere. But when you have this little list of things that are 5 minutes long, 10 minutes long, you can crack things out in those small pockets of time. Someone asked me once, how do you know, what's the time frame these tasks should be? You have to kind of know yourself. For me, my brain, I learned this when I was starting to work out after I had all my babies. I learned that anything more than 20 to 30 minutes, my brain was like, no, we're not doing that today. There's no way the baby will stay sleeping for you to work out that whole time. Not happening. But if I kept it to 20 minutes or less, my brain was like, I guess I don't really have a good argument for that. Let's do it. So for me, it's 20 minutes or less is my sweet spot. Now, there might be a task that maybe takes you 30 minutes, an hour. I don't know. I can't think of them off the top of my head. But typically, if your task that you wrote down is that long, there are probably smaller bits in there that you could break down a little bit further if you really pause to really look at that and decide that. But if your brain isn't scared of a half an hour, then go for it. But that there again, you just really need to know yourself. So go ahead and hit pause and try to break down one of the things that you picked. Okay, quick recap. All three of these first steps you can do on your own. And I point that out because I don't want you to let yourself say, well, I need a coach. Well, I need this, that, or the other. That's great. But if you don't have that in your budget right now, it's not an option for you right now, you can do this. And you can do this. You can do this. So do it. So the next piece is accountability. And again, this is a piece where, yes, you will need someone else, but this could be a friend, a colleague. You could hire a coach. It's something that I do for my clients. We have sometimes where we have multiple calls. Those are kind of like checkpoints where we check in and have deadlines and accountability there. But it's just too easy to quit on yourself. It's too easy to wake up the next day. Maybe you're tired. The babies or kids were up all night, whatever. And you just don't have that excitement that you did the day before when you were, casting these big dreams. That's life and that's normal. Okay. But when you have an accountability piece built in, those days you're going to still make progress, even if it's little bits here and there because of that accountability. Now, I will caution you here that be careful and be selective, I think is the word that we want to use, reserving these big ideas that you're working on for people that will meet you with that same excitement. Like, I am a person that will meet you with your dreams and be excited. Other people maybe won't. Might be your family, might be other people, and maybe they're doing it out of love because they think that they're helping and that you haven't thought things through, but we know you have. You're here, you're doing this process, and you have. So just reserve those new baby ideas until they're a little bit bigger, and you feel more confident in them, because what tends to happen is then their doubt comes back to you and it's really just a reflection of the doubt you already have. And then you're like, maybe I won't do this. Maybe they're right. And it can kind of squash that baby dream before you've even had a chance to start working on it. So just be selective when you're doing that. Okay. Troubleshoot and adjust. I love these words because I think society likes to use failure and quitting in place of them too often. Too often. We are troubleshooting and adjusting. And depending on what you're working on, you should do this every once a week, every couple of weeks, and just check in. How is it feeling? Did you make a plan? And even the best thought out plans on paper that look great, they might not feel great. And just because you thought, this new habit I'm going to build on paper, it looks like it should be after my morning coffee. And you do it for a week because you said you would, and you're just doing it. Okay. It's not wrong if that doesn't feel good. And if it could feel better somewhere else in your day, or if something needs to be adjusted, that is not wrong. So make sure that you expect imperfections, and then check in with yourself to make those adjustments. Check on your why. I've learned this with tons of my wellness clients, that maybe you started and you're working on your wellness and you're going to lose baby weight. That is not a strong enough why. Losing weight or making money, if you're trying to launch a side business, not a strong enough why. You need to peel back the layers of your onion and say, why? Why does that matter? And so I've shared this example before, but why do you want to lose baby weight? Well, I gained 50 pounds when I was pregnant. It's just not healthy. Okay, why does that matter? Well, my toddler just is on the go and I am just winded and I can't keep up with him. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Why does that matter to you? Well, I want to be able to jump up and say, yes, I want to play with you whenever he wants. And I don't want to have to be like, well, buddy, mom needs a nap, whatever like that. That is going to have you sticking to your plans a lot more likely than I want to lose weight or I want to make money. That's just not, it's not going to work. That's not strong enough. So take some time to get in tune with yourself. The other piece I want to mention is find small wins along the way. When we find those wins, when we let ourselves have grace, and I know there's a lot more wins than you're noticing. And so when we notice them and we find them and we celebrate them in some way, big or small, it helps us stick to our plans. It's a big deal. Don't discount this part, please. Okay, now the bonus. Okay. This ties it all together. This is your inner work. I'm using the word mindfulness here, but this really is just the state of being aware. It's refocusing your attention. Okay. So pauses are productive. I'm yelling this because I needed this lesson forever. And it was probably at least a year ago where I finally learned this. And I slip in and out of seasons where I forget it, but I come back to it. And you need to check in with yourself and how you feel. How does all of this feel? Because otherwise, you're going to keep drifting into hustle mode. And that's not where the real magic happens. The real magic happens when you are in flow with yourself and being aware and learning when this happens, when you are feeling creative, when you are in a big workflow time, of the month. This is when you're going to create and dream and just make so much progress that your productivity is going to be so high when you work in these moments than when you try to force it out every single day, like in a 9 to 5. But I also know that when life gets really busy and it throws you some curveballs, I don't know about you, but I cut these pauses out first. But let's not do that. Okay. This is the time we need these, and we can keep these things shortened and really quick. And so what are the pauses? The pauses are journaling, gratitude, affirmations, okay, meditation. These things are your pauses. These are the magic. We have to have our inner work working and aligned and positive for us to be creative, for us to be in the right energy to launch big dreams, to take care of ourselves, be the best mom, be the best wife, be the best partner, whatever that we are. Okay. If you don't have words for your affirmations yet, use somebody else's. And know that when you're doing all these things, these can be quick. Some is better than none. If you have 30 seconds to pause and think of 3 things you're grateful for, that's huge. Because you want to know something really cool about our brains? Whatever we focus on, it goes and finds more. So if you are in a negative space, you are probably focusing on negative things like, oh, dang it, they left the dishes on top of the dishwasher without putting them in the freaking dishwasher. Like, yes, I have these thoughts too. If we have them often enough, our brain is just going to keep looking for more proof because that is how it's designed. And so use this as a superpower and start looking for the positive things because your brain is going to find more proof of that. It just is what you're focusing on. So the other thing, make this fun. My couple good friends of mine and I, we have a group chat going constantly, and they're my dreamer friends. They're like the big dreamer. We can bounce ideas off each other. We're going to be met with excitement and the right energy when we share new dreams. But we love to throw out the words, wouldn't it be fun if, okay? Wouldn't it be fun if my next virtual class sells out the day I launch it? Wouldn't it be fun if my one friend's a realtor, if the deal closes tonight? Wouldn't it be fun if? Because this is supposed to be fun. Life's supposed to be fun. This should be fun, and just set those vibes, get them out there because the world has so much abundance and it's there for you to take. There is room for all of us. Go put those vibes out there, set it in motion into the universe what you want. Here's a quick example of how you can create an affirmation. Pick something that currently feels like a struggle. Flip it into a positive by thinking about what would it be like or feel like if it was no longer a struggle. And now this is your new affirmation. And my example is right there. So I'm a go-getter. I'm an Enneagram 3 achiever. And I just want to keep achieving the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. But that can lead to burnout for me. And then I need to take a bigger pause to kind of recoup myself. So a struggle for me sometimes still is to pause and celebrate my wins. Even though I just told you that it's vital. It is vital, but it's still, I know this, it still can be a struggle for me here and there. So a new affirmation for me would be to say, I celebrate my wins daily. Put it in the present tense. That's how it becomes meaningful. Okay. And the last little bit is to tie it all together. This piece I have recently added to my repertoire, and it is guided meditations. I create guided meditations. I have meditations. I have a week-long course where you get one each day. It's going to be 3 weeks long soon. It's in the works. But this really can tie things together. I love a mantra meditation because you can take those affirmations and put it in as a meditation. And I think we need to debunk some myths, though, to start with, because when I would first try to meditate, my brain is so much of a chatter type brain, always thinking, always taking care of everything and everyone. And so, because I couldn't get my brain blank, I thought I was doing it wrong. And so I would quit. Meditation is not having a blank mind, it's just not. So, it is observing without judgment. Okay. Observing without judgment. You can let the thoughts come in. They're supposed to come in. You're supposed to have thoughts. You're human. But finding your own, the style that you like, your own style for guided meditations is huge. There's endless amounts of resources out there. So if you listen to one and you're like, nah, this sounds dumb, go find a different one. Like, don't force it. Go find a different one. I have some short ones. I have minute long ones. Even that is really, really productive. And you compare these things together and again, make it short, and it's still really powerful. So here is all my contact information, but you maybe already have it since you've already found this workbook. And I just, again, want to say congrats on starting this. It's not easy, but you're so worth it. And you have ideas and inspiration that the world is waiting for. Not everybody is going to relate to my voice and to my ideas and thoughts. Someone is waiting for yours. So please, please, please make progress. Go for it. Shoot for the stars and just keep trucking along because it's worth it. So thanks for being here.